What if your software could, well, think? What if it could plan things out and then actually execute complex tasks, all on its own, without you having to do a single thing? Today, we are diving deep into OpenClaw. It's this powerful open-source AI assistant that's not just taking the developer world by storm, it's promising to be the AI that you truly own and control.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's get one thing straight. If you go and search for OpenClaw right now, you're going to find two totally different projects. On the right, there's a fantastic fan project to modernize a classic 90s video game. But, we're not here to talk about pirates today. We're here for the project on the left, the autonomous, self-hosted AI assistant that is completely changing the game. So let's just start with a question. We've all used assistants like Siri or Alexa, right? You ask them something, they give you an answer. Simple. But have you ever wished they could just do more? I mean, actually book that perfect vacation for you, find the flights, the hotel, the best restaurants, or maybe even help you with your work while you're asleep. That's the exact promise we're going to explore today.
So what is OpenClaw, really? Well, at its core, it's an open-source, personal AI assistant that you run on your very own hardware. This thing isn't living in some company's cloud. It's right there on your machine. And it connects directly to the messaging apps you're already using, like WhatsApp, Telegram, and Discord, to become your own personal, always-on agent. Now, the thing that makes OpenClaw so different, the thing that's really interesting here, is this concept called agentic AI. This is not just another chatbot. An agentic system is more like a smart assistant that can take a really high-level goal from you, break it down into smaller steps, use tools like a web browser or your computer's files, and then just get it done. It keeps working on its own until the job is finished. And this quote just illustrates the idea perfectly. The project was actually inspired by Anthropic's Claude models, and this description is spot on. You're not just talking to a brain in a jar anymore. You're giving that brain hands to actually go out and interact with the digital world for you. Now, we have to get into the origin story because it is as chaotic as it is compelling. Seriously, this wasn't some quiet, planned launch. It was just an absolute explosion of growth, drama, and unexpected challenges, all centered around its now famous lobster mascot. The whole journey has just been a whirlwind. It started out as Claudebot, but after a trademark request from Anthropic, they had to change it. So it became Moltbot for exactly 3 days before another rebrand to the name we have now, OpenClaw. And all of this happened in less than a week, just fueled by this unbelievable community growth. The creator, Peter Steinberger, took that first rebrand totally in stride with this perfect quote. It just captured the spirit of the project, right? Shedding an old shell to make room for massive growth. And get this, during all that chaos, scammers actually hijacked their old social media handles to launch a fake crypto token. Steinberger had to publicly denounce it. It was just pure mayhem. And the growth was, and still is, absolutely staggering. We're talking over 147,000 stars on GitHub. That's more than many of the foundational technologies that developers use every single day. This isn't just some niche tool. It's a full-blown phenomenon. And it signals a huge demand for AI that people can actually own and control themselves. Okay, so we know it's super popular and it has a wild history, but what makes it so powerful? Let's break down the features that really separate OpenClaw from pretty much every other AI tool out there. This table really makes it crystal clear. Unlike ChatGPT or Siri, OpenClaw has persistent memory. It actually remembers your conversations and your preferences over the long haul. It can even proactively message you first, maybe with a daily summary or something. But the really crucial points are down at the bottom. It's self-hosted, which gives you complete data privacy, and it's open source, which gives you total control. So how does it actually work? Well, it's through this simple but really powerful agentic loop. You give it a goal, something high level, like find the best flight to London for me next month. The AI then plans all the subtasks. It'll search a few flight websites, compare the prices, check your calendar for any conflicts. Then it uses its tools, the browser, your calendar API, to execute those tasks, learning and refining its approach until the job is done and it messages you back with the best option. Now, with this kind of power, the ability to access your files, browse the web, and send messages pretending to be you comes an enormous responsibility. And this brings us to the real duality of OpenClaw, its incredible capabilities and the very real security risks if it's not handled correctly. First, let's talk about the power. I mean, these aren't just theories. These are real stories from the OpenClaw community. People have used it to automate buying a car, literally getting dealerships to compete against each other in email threads to lower the price. Developers have it reviewing code and submitting fixes overnight. It's checking people in for their flights and even fighting insurance claim disputes. This is automation on a whole new level.
But then there's the peril. The same power that lets OpenClaw do all these amazing things can be disastrous if your setup isn't secure. This is a real critical warning from security researchers, because this thing can execute commands on your machine. An exposed instance is basically like leaving the front door to your entire digital life wide open for anyone to just walk right through.
And honestly, this is the most crucial point to understand. OpenClaw isn't a toy. It's a professional-grade tool, and it's meant for people who understand the risks. The creator is really explicit about this. If you're not comfortable with basic network security, you should not be running it. Security is not an optional feature here. It's an absolute prerequisite. Let's quickly talk about cost. The OpenClaw software itself, completely free. Your only cost is for the AI model's brain. So if you run an open source model locally using a tool like a Llama, your cost is zero, nothing. If you connect to a powerful cloud API like Claude or GPT-4, your costs can range from maybe $5 or $10 a month for light use to hundreds if you're running really complex, nonstop automations. The bottom line is you are in full control. So what does a tool like this mean for the future? We're not just looking at a cool new app here. We are looking at a fundamental shift in how we interact with software and really how developers build it in the first place. And this is the big takeaway. For decades, software has been static. It does exactly what it's programmed to do, no more, no less. Tools like OpenClaw represent a move to autonomous systems that can make their own decisions. And for developers, this means the job itself is evolving. You're shifting from writing every single line of code to designing, guiding, and orchestrating these intelligent agents. Your job becomes less about writing the perfect sorting algorithm and more about telling an AI agent which data to sort, connecting it to the right tools, and defining the final goal. You become the architect, and the AI becomes the builder. And so, we end right back where we began, with a question. The age of passive digital assistants is pretty much over. The age of active, autonomous agents is here. OpenClaw is just a glimpse of that future. A future where automation is intelligent, it's personalized. And so the real question is, when you have an AI that you truly own and you truly control, what will you have it do?